Hello dear. First of all, wishing you good health and beautiful family life. In this video, we are going to cover a new topic of material design, material button toggle group with add-on button check listener. It is not on check change listener. It is different one and it is not set on check change listener. It is add-on button check listener. So with material design, a new library of material design with view binding in AndroidX. So basically we have seen certain new concept or certain new UI. Then we have curiosity to find basically which component it is. So same curiosity for me that previously we have used that radio group and radio buttons, but now you can click on button. It will be toggled between selected state and unselected state. So when we select another anything button like component, then we feel that it's a new one or new concept. Then I tried to found and finally I got that it is material button toggle group. So material button toggle group, inside that material buttons. So previously it was radio group and inside that we have used radio buttons. In now it's a new concept of material design in AndroidX, Android Jetpack version. It's a material button toggle group and material buttons. So let's see and go ahead with this one. So first I show which output we are going to see that. So let's see when we will complete this exercise. Then if we click on Android, then we can click this button also and unclick that one, then select and unselect one. So basically you can do both of these and see this one, any of three things. So basically these types of exercise without radio button we are going to perform. So choice is yours. If you want to desire or certain this type of output, then and then go ahead. Otherwise you are liberate and free to do coding on your own. Be happy, and for this one we are going ahead. So as per the guideline, update your studio to 3.6 plus version. Go to help, check for updates. If it is available, then update with these new look and feel of IDE, integrated development environment of Android Studio. So for the understanding purpose, why we are using view binding, because it replaces find view by IDs and it automatically build the generated class on the basis of XML or layout. Likewise, if activity underscore main.xml is the file name of layout, then activity main binding will be automatically generated view binding class name. If it is activity underscore like.xml, activity like binding will be automatically generated class name. So let's start. Material button toggle group. Add on button check change listener with MDC new component material design 1.2.0 by view binding. Only just 4 steps. So let's start and go to new project with empty activity. Then we are going to implement these capabilities of view binding. So that's why inside build.gradle module, add view binding enable equals to true. So it is OTS one time step only. Then let's see, do it further one. So go to this one, go to file, new, and new project. Then you can with select empty activity, click on next. Then give the name of this demo underscore material button toggle group. So it is language Java, click on finish. Then all the stuffs are ready. So make sure your internet connection is on. So I go to build.gradle file. Inside this one, inside Android scope, just I type view binding, then enabled equals to true. So very easy one. So click on sync now with your ready internet connection. So all the stuffs or all the capabilities to code view binding will be inside our project. So it will build automatically. We will go ahead with another one. So it is add dependency if not included. If it is included, certain times what happen, if you go with newer version, likewise ready-made navigation drawer or bottom set navigation, then these capability already implemented. If it is with older version, then you need to update it. Otherwise the new one is 1.0.1.2.0 slash alpha 03. I think that I know that 1.6.0 is also right now available. They shows the notification, but previously material design library 1.0.0, after that it is 1.1.0 by default. Right now it is implemented with this one 1.1.0. You need to upgrade for certain these type of new concept or new component. New component is available inside 1.1.0, but there are few attributes you cannot access inside this one. So like selection required name attribute will be not available in 1.1.0. It is in updated library. So just update or add dependency over here. So we are going to add the dependency over here. So just implement com.google.android.material material 1.2.0 alpha 03. Make sure your internet connection is on, and after the syncing process will be finished, then particular our project will be able to see this one. Currently right now if we just press cursor on it, then they say that 1.0 alpha 03 is available, and right now available is alpha 06. I know that. Okay, but currently we are right now we are going to perform with this one. So add dependency one another OTS is finished. So all the components only you can access with style material components. So there is no app compat will be much more, because as per the guideline of material .io, they said that developer.android.com, they said that upgrade your component to material design. So we try to update our style also with app compact to material components. So let's see, just close this down, and close this down, close another one, and go to Java file. Okay, res file, values and style.xml. By default it is app compat, so just I change it to mat material component. Only you can do these material components thing if you have added these Gradle files or added the capabilities of it. So just add material components dot whatever the theme you can choose. So and our step number 1 is finished. So go to step number 2. We need to design our main screen. So I will close these values and go to layout file. Inside this one, activity underscore main.xml. So for that, this one you need to understand constraint layout. So first I plus one material group. So just if you have added capabilities of this one, then material button toggle group is here. So material button toggle group, which is basic thing about this tutorial. So width will be wrap content, I manage it. Okay, and I will also manage with height, then height will be also wrap content. First just I enclose this one. I know that what is the red mark error. First I give the ID with toggle group. So just I replace the ID. I know that, but I want this one in the center of screen. So just I control X or control C with this one, and just I paste it over here. So there is no red mark. I know that constraint layout. Then there are two other things. Likewise, one thing is single selection. If we want single selection, true or false, we will discuss it in later on. Certain 4 cases we are going to discuss. regarding this one. But if you single selection true, then if it is false, then you can select multiple buttons at a time. If it is true, then you can only select a single button. So, and another thing is, if selection required or not, currently I make it false, otherwise it will be must thing, a red mark, one type of. Then if you add this one, then also you need to add which button will be checked. So I make it currently right now it is false. So basically we will discuss it, these two things, single selection true and selection required false, after one also, but currently right now we have make it with one single selection true and the selection required will be false. And for this one, bottom to bottom of parent I remove this one inside text view, and top to top of parent also I remove, and just I will adjust with uh, top to bottom of this toggle group. So okay, toggle group. Okay, so it will be below the toggle group. So I will make it afterward also. We will take it down, and just I press one ID also for this one, TV underscore result, and just I check this one with result. And already we have set this one, but I want to text size of 20 sp, and just I want to set in margin top of 20 density pixel. So everything is ready, but I want to add one style also. I will give it afterwards, because it is new concept of material design. Without drawable you can also set certain types of layout. So currently right now there is, you cannot say this upper one toggle or a material button toggle group. Currently right now text view is only shown. So inside this one we have going to add material button. So material button, we can add material button, width will be rep content and height will be rep content. So just I type text also. Likewise I want to design with Android, and text size which will be 20 scale point, and also I want one ID. So after that placing this ID, likewise btn underscore Android. So everything is okay, and just I close it down. But once again I want there are inbuilt style in MDC latest version material design library. So just I plus style of outline button. So it is also depend upon your dependency added inside Gradle file, outline button. So widget.materialComponents.button.outline button. These capabilities will be maintain our layout for selection, and if we uh, just close it selection, then we can select it. So let's see and view it onwards. Second button I want for the iOS. So just I write iOS, and another one copy paste is the best thing, always I say that for the developer. So both, so these thing is we are going to perform. So this is the button, basically Android, iOS and both. So this thing is ready with our content. So already we have designed this material button widget.materialComponents button.outline button, and just we press over here that inside this style library or style attribute, over here we can say that small component, it is another one small component, because text view is small component. So we have given the style and appearance of this one. So Android, iOS and both are ready with these three things. So everything is ready with our screen designing purpose. So let's move forward and go ahead with this one. So go to step number 3, main activity, certain type of coding related to view binding. So it is avoid to memory leaks. Whatever the binding we have used, we need to set it null, because we are free to use without find view by ID. so we are using view binding. So just I close this one. I think it will be okay. If it is not, then we will alter the code. Over here it is also depend upon main activity. Sorry, it is on layout file. So activity underscore main dot binding, activity main binding is here, and over here you can write binding equals to, just you can type activity main binding dot inflate get layout inflator. So very easy code. Now what are the set content? Right now we replace this code binding dot get root. So it is okay with find view by IDs. So 2 line of code for this one. So already we have set it this one, and go ahead with another one, step number 4. So make sure that for these toggle group already I have checked with right side. You can see I have tried many types of code, but finally I try with case switch case and for the checked ID and is check variable whatever the provision inside the add on button check listener. But finally what are the easy method I have tried and which goes as per my desired result. I have used this method on the left side, so I go with this one. So just I write right now, just by default I type one selection like a string selection, or for the selected value I have typed by default it is none, because there is no required one, so I by default I have made it none. So binding dot toggle group, by default it is we do not have to give the find view by ID, we can directly type the listener. Add on button check listener, it is new listener for also professional developers also. So by default inside that set on check chain listener we have used in radio group, but it is newer one, add on button check listener. So new space and control space, so already is here on button checked, it will be overridden. So just I type a certain type of coding, if binding dot btn android dot is checked, then I will make it with the selection, like a selection equals to android, because android button is selected. We think that copy paste I okay, control V and control V. So just I type else if binding dot iOS button, so iOS is checked, then result will be iOS. And if it is both is selected, okay, else if both is selected, then I replace with this one both and last case. So else one, just I type if there is nothing is selection, then selection will be none. So because the button can be checked and unchecked, so that's why I make the coding by this way. Just I want to set this to TV result text view, so just I set text, then selection, then column, then space plus our variable selection. So values will be inside this one. So basic only 4 lines of coding over here. So you can do it on your own. So it is very easy to write the code. Let's see only 4 steps we have made for this one. So it is step number 4. Step number 1, this one material components. Step number 2, design main screen. Step number 3, view binding code inside main activity. And step number 4, it is add on button check listener. So very easy thing for the coding purpose. Only 4 steps you need to type or you need to implement inside your code. So I always prefer directly do not practical inside whatever the project you desire. First check certain demo type of project, then after you have certain boost up or enhancement your confidence, then you can implement anywhere from it. So these types of small task or small hands-on exercise always boost up our knowledge or experience, and we are able to perform it easily. So let's see, our output is ready. So see these types of button first I have seen first time. Then I saw that it is not radio button or simple button, it is different one. So it is material button. So we can click on Android, then selection is Android. If we click uncheck this one, then it is by default none. So click on iOS. If we uncheck this one, then none. Click on both, uncheck this one and none. So if we toggle it from the button side, likewise this one, because we have made the single selection, we are able to check the single value. So very simple, very easy. You can implement in your project. Sure, you will like this one. So our final output, whatever the changes we have seen, we try to change the orientation. So just for the R&D purpose, we have tried to this one because we are explore this material button group. So by default it is horizontal. You can make it vertical also. Just press Shift F10. Then also you will get certain new look for this one. So Android, iOS and both, just I close it down and wait for the Gradle building finish. Always think that I have made certain settings also, so for the Gradle invocation will be fast. Otherwise there is lots of time consuming this one, but here it's quick thing. And right now Android, iOS and both. So Android, iOS and both. You can uncheck this one, iOS, Android. So it is working. So just I make it by the way of default one, or you can also change whatever as per your desire or as per your requirement. If client require vertical, then you can provide vertical also. You can also set the gravity on your own because you are mature developer. So I don't to try for these all purpose. So just I make it horizontal, whatever the previously we have changed it. So our final output is ready. So as per you can see, as per our commitment, you can check and uncheck Android, iOS and both of these one. Then if you select Android, iOS, both, or you can select iOS and Android. So as per our commitment, our final output is ready for the material radio group. You can implement on your own. So as per or also another commitment that we are going to discuss certain cases regarding this one. So basically I have tried many things and try for certain setting with certain options. So just I want to share with you. Case 1 is single selection false and single selection required false. So both are false, then check button is not necessary. Let's implement and see the look. This one, set single selection, it is false, and selection required, it is also false. So what is the necessary when we are making this single selection false? We can select two buttons also, or we can select three buttons also. So that's why just I want to share the output with you. If you set this one single selection, then see, this is the output. Case number 1 it is. So what is case number 1? Over here it is case number 1. We are currently discussing case number 1. So see this one, Android. You can also select this one. Then it is not mismatch with coding and UI. Currently we have whatever coding we have done. Then you can also select this one. See this one. It is not match with this one. For that type of things I have make or a certain way also. Likewise this one. You have to make or check and uncheck this one button. So I think that I don't prefer this one because certain complexity in this case. So just for the second case, first thing is false, single selection false and single selection required true. If we select selection required true, then we also need to make it with check button. Likewise, we have made this one. So first thing is case number 2, single selection false and selection required true. So I make it this one, single so true, and checked button we need to make it. Likewise, I want to make Android as an checked one. By default, when we try to set check button should be true. So because selection required it is true, so that's why. So you can also plus none, another fourth one button for this one, but this time I make it with check button btn required true and with check button btn Android. So by default, when the screen will be loaded, Android is checked. So see this one, it is mismatch another time. I don't think how we can set or all those things by default. It is case number 2, not preferable case, because when we selection required true and it is not preferable, single selection false. So because multiple connection or multiple button will be true in this case. So see this one, it is case number 2 currently we have discussed. So but look is totally different thing. It is not possible in radio button, so look is different. Let's we discuss case number 3, both of true. Then we are going to check first single selection is also true and selection required is also true, and by default Android will be selected. So it is case number 3, single selection is true and selection required is also true. So let's see, and press shift F10 and screen will be on the AVD Android virtual device emulator. So by default Android is selected, iOS, Android, iOS both. But when we do it this one, see this one, I have unchecked this one, but currently right now it is selected because single selection required true. This is the effect of this one coding. So if you uncheck this one, then it coding is working, but UI is certainly working different type of. Likewise, it is Android, go to iOS, go to Android, but if you uncheck this one, selection none, because for this one selection required true. So it is case number 3. We have discussed coding work, but UI seems certain difficult way. And the case number 4, whatever our previous output, true false, and handle with none in programming. So true and false, single selection true and selection required false. So just I make it one, single selection case number 4, first single selection true and selection required false, single selection true and selection required false, and just I change the check button coding and remove that code. So press shift F10. Why we have discussed these cases? So because if we want certain grip on the component, then we need to experiment by certain way, and we have to came out whatever the way we have prefer. Or for the my example, that true and false is preferable, then I go with that. If your example will be different, then make sure broad mind with developer side. So always preferable thing is be broad minded, and our final output, and as per our final output, once again our desired thing is here. So let's see our final output, and just I press shift F10, final output will be on the screen. So Gradle invocation is finished, and left side our final output as per our commitment. Just I play this one, and over here emulator is here. Then final output once again after the case discussion. If we click checked and uncheck this one, check both and uncheck this one, check on this one Android, check iOS, check both, and once again iOS and Android. So it is very easy thing. You can also implement information plus experience equals to knowledge. So implement material button toggle group if you desire. So it is the latest one. So finally we have completed in 4 steps material button toggle group with add-on button check listener with upgraded material design 1.2.0 with alpha library dependency we have added with view binding in AndroidX, Android Jetpack. So thank you very much. If you like this video, then press like button, write comment. You can also, if you have difficulty, then you can also share your code with the given email ID inside description or inside about tab. So another thing is, please subscribe this channel on YouTube and share with concerned person. Thanks a lot. Thank you.